So now we're given a verbal description, no table, but all the critical details are here for us. First thing we're told is this is going to be a cubic function, so I need my answer to have x to the third in it. And then it has 3 zeros, and those 3 zeros should come from the factors of the opposite of the value. So it should be x plus 1, and then this is going to be x minus 1, and then this came from an x minus 3. Those are my factors. But then it tells me the y-intercept is 15, which means I need an a value. And I know that when I do my work for f of x, I'm going to have to utilize f of 0 equals 15. It says write the equation of this cubic in standard form. So here's all the information that we have. All we have to do is say f of 0 is 15, and then do the work of solving for a. Well, if I plug in zeros for all these, it's going to be 1 times -1 times -3, which means that 15 is equal to, this is positive 3a, which means my a value, if I divide 3 from both sides, is 5. All right, so I have the a value. That's going to go right here. So I have my function. I'll have it in factored form. So f of x is equal to 5 times x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. All I have to do to complete this problem is write that into standard form. So I need to multiply this out and distribute. Now, the nice thing about this problem is that these are conjugates. Whenever I multiply conjugates, it will produce a difference of squares. This will just be x squared minus 1. And that's because x times x is x squared. And then if I multiply the -1, it'll be negative x. Then this will be positive x. The middle part cancels, and then it's just -1 times +1, which is -1. So the difference of squares is the result of that middle part. So that's pretty excellent. 5 needs to tag along out in front, and then the x minus 3 comes down. And then I have to continue and multiply this 2 by 2. Use FOIL here. So I'm going to take this x squared and times it by the x over here. So that's going to give me x to the third. Then I multiply the x squared times -3 to get -3x squared. And then I take the -1 and distribute it into the second parentheses. So that's going to be -x, and multiply the -1 times -3 to get +3. Now, what students often will lose is this 5 right here. This parentheses, each time you multiply and distribute into one parentheses, the outermost parentheses stay. The inner ones are replaced by the function that just worked itself out, the multiplication that happened. The 5 needs to stay out in front of that parentheses because it has not been multiplied in there. Notice I waited till the end to deal with that front 5. What happens is students at the beginning, they just start getting really excited about distributing that 5 everywhere, and then they've way too largely amplified the problem. The 5 should just tag along once and get distributed in at the end to one of them. You could distribute it at the beginning to one factor, but I would highly encourage you to wait till the end. So distributing the 5 is going to get 5x to the third, and then minus 15x squared, and then -5x, and finally positive 15. That is my standard form polynomial for this function that was cubic and has those 3 x-intercepts of -1, +1, 3.